Hello there, welcome to this special talk program on NTV News. I am Devendra Subedi. Today we have with us Elmar Ledergerber, if I am not wrong to pronounce that name, President HELVETAS, the Swiss Intercooperation Agency. It is one of the oldest development partner in Nepal. Mr. Ledergerber, nice to have you in ASO.
Thank you very much. I like to be here after 20 years, the first time again.
What brings you here again?
Well, we have a very important event. We are celebrating the 60th anniversary of the cooperation between HELVETAS and Nepal. So this is worth to celebrate, and it is a big event.
It has been 60 years since HELVETAS started its engagement in Nepal. It has many different projects, different areas it has been engaged in. What do you think is the most successful project that HELVETAS has launched in Nepal?
Well, I would say over these 60 years there are so many different projects successful as well. For me, the most successful in quantitative and qualitative terms, this is our BBLL, Bridge Building Program at local level. We have built up to now in the last 25 years more than almost 6,000 bridges all over the country. But I'm wrong to say we have built, the people have built these bridges there, and we just gave the support to overcome the limits in the resources and the limits concerning finance and whatever and technology, but the people did this work. This is the important point.
The trail-based technology that HELVETAS brought to Nepal is not just in Nepal but globally a successful program. Do you believe that?
That is right. After this program has been established in Nepal, we handed it over to Bhutan, and there a lot of bridges are built as well. But actually, nowadays this program is working in so many countries, in Africa, in Ethiopia, in Burundi, in Latin America, in Guatemala. So it is a real successful program, the most successful we ever had. And the very important point is not we are doing, the people is doing.
Thank you for bringing that technology to Nepal, and now we are doing it and we are exporting it.
Yes, but this technology is not only brought by HELVETAS. If you are looking in Bagrung, there are very old suspension bridges made by Nepalese people. They had already the technology, but we have to reanimate it again and to give some inputs that the program could start and be a so big success.
I spoke about exporting it, not just the logistic or the fabricating part of it, but the expertise.
That is right. Nowadays, Nepalese engineers are working in Africa as consultant in this suspension bridge program in Latin America, and this south support is one of the very important points, and we are proud about that we could help to initiate it.
I think we are giving too much of time to trail bridges. I think you have other engagements as well in Nepal.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that one?
Yes. Well, I started first. My first engagement in Nepal was an evaluation of a small hydel program where we are building small hydel plants throughout the country. And after this evaluation, we stopped it. Then I could start to work with the suspension bridge program. At that time, we had the SPD, these very high-tech and expensive bridges, and we then developed the new program, much cheaper, lower technology, more in the reach of the people, and this was the big success.
Well, a man of 70 plus, you're still so active and looking after, as the president of HELVETAS, all the development programs of Swiss government. What makes you so active?
Well, my point is,
this is the time people take retirement.
Yes, but you know, my impression is I got so much from life, and I don't know from whom. So I would like to give back a little bit, as long as I can. And this interesting cooperation with all these countries, with all these people, to be engaged there and to give the support that they can help themselves.
Elmar Ledergerber, I pronounced it correctly.
Yes, correctly. Perfect.
Was the mayor of Zurich once.
Yes,
Can you tell your experience of being the mayor of Zurich long time ago?
Well, I resigned in 2009,
okay.
and I was...
It was not too long ago.
Well, it is 7 years.
Yeah.
Huh? And it was a very good experience for me, a very hard one as well. But I never had the opportunity to be so creative, to help to develop so many programs in a city like Zurich, and to make Zurich a real success for the people, for the economy, for the quality of life. And that was really for me a big opportunity. And maybe that's the point you feel I'm still more or less a little bit young.
So there are 31 countries around the world where Helvetas has its engagement. How does Switzerland and Helvetas rate Nepal as its partner among the 31 countries? Where is Nepal in Helvetas picture?
Well, Nepal was at the very beginning of Helvetas. And still, these days, Nepal is the most important partner. This is the biggest program we have throughout the world here in Nepal. And that is why we still are concentrating very much on Nepal. We know that country, we know the problems here, we have the relations, we understand a little bit of the population as well. And so we have really a big amount of projects here with a high diversity, and this is for us a very important point. We have here in the country about 270 collaborators. This is a huge amount. We are cooperating with 150 NGOs. We are cooperating with 7 ministries. So I think we are an important actor in this field of development.
So if you have to bring it down to financial, let's say, figures, what is the annual, let's say, Helvetas budget that comes into Nepal every year?
It is in these years about 18 million Swiss francs. This is a big amount. That means this is almost 2 billion rupees.
Is there any program that Helvetas has launched in the aftermath of the April 25, 2015 earthquake in Nepal?
Yes, this is an important point now, because our budget is so high. We had so many Swiss people who saw what happened here in Nepal, and they were ready to spend money, to support, to help in the fundraising. That's why we could increase the amount of our budget after this earthquake. And now we are doing so many work in reconstruction. At that time, we are building with the people about 4,000 houses. This is only a drop on a hot stone, but at least it is a big part for the people who are affected.
So are there any plans now to channel your assistance to earthquake reconstruction from other areas, or you will keep it up to this limit?
No, we need the long-term continuity in the other regions. This is a new engagement, and we will help with lot of other donors as well and agencies to support the people to reconstruct what they have lost. This will take many years, and it is a big effort to do.
You have also been advisor to the council, ex-parliamentarian in Switzerland. Switzerland and Nepal share so much of geographical common things. We both are landlocked countries. How much you have gone around Nepal and seen its beauty?
I have been in many parts. I have been in the east, in Ilam. I have been in, of course, Lamusangu Chiri Road, which is a project of Switzerland. I have been visiting so many sites of bridges. I have been evaluating so many sites as well. And last days I was in Midwest. We were in Surkhet, and we were looking there about all the projects we have active there. So I don't know Nepal really in detail, but I have a lot of experiences.
By the little much you have seen about Nepal, can you figure out some similarities and differences between Switzerland and Nepal?
Okay, we have both mountains.
Yeah.
You are higher.
We are higher.
Yours are higher, more than 8,000 meters. Yes. The highest in Switzerland is 4,800, the highest summit.
That's almost double then.
This is almost double. So this mountain living is somewhat we share together, and that might be one of the reasons why Switzerland has chosen Nepal in the 80s as country of priority. We share as well. We are big, but much bigger country. We have about 8 million inhabitants. You have about 30 millions of inhabitants.
Yes.
We are facing big states around Switzerland, and we have to compromise somewhat. You are facing the importance of India and of China, and you have to balance the interests as well. So maybe these are similarities as well. But of course, we are lucky to be in a very happy situation. You have almost 50% of the people who are starving, who don't have enough to eat during the year. And we don't know that in Switzerland. We are on a very comfortable level. We have a very high quality of life, and that's why we want, and I'm really sure this is our obligation as well, to give support to the country who don't have this quality of life.
A large chunk of Swiss assistance goes to good governance.
Yes.
Maintaining good governance in countries like Nepal. How do you see the state of governance in Nepal?
Well, you have a difficult past. Maybe you have a difficult present as well. So I think in Nepal you have a lot to work in this respect, because you know that in many countries, developing countries, corruption is a very important issue, and corruption is destroying growth. Corruption is destroying potential of development and quality of life. And I know you are fighting the corruption here, but it exists still. So there are a lot of problems in the present, and maybe in the future you will be in a better situation, but it needs a lot of work.
You have been working with government agencies a lot during this engagement. Does governance ever come in your head as an issue? Because of the governance issue, maybe we will not work on this area. Has it ever come in your mind as a partner, as a development partner? Have you ever thought like that?
Yes, of course. This governance is a high priority in the cooperation of Switzerland and Helvetas with these countries. If you imagine, it is not so long that you are a democratic country who can elect the government and can participate in the political power. That is a development which needs a lot of learning as well and experience, and you have to make this experience. We, on the other side, have this experience already long time ago, so we can maybe give a certain support. We do that as well, for instance, in Bhutan. In the whole country, we have this project of local governance, good governance, and they appreciate that very well.
So your focus on good governance will continue?
Yes, of course. I think this is an important point in your country.
Okay, of course, governance is an issue, and we're fighting corruption, as you said, probably much higher than what you are fighting at the moment. You are a student of economics. How do you see Nepal's economy in the next 10 years? There are multiple opportunities as well, aren't there?
They are opportunities, but this is still a fragile context, because it is hard to see these possibilities of exportation, to get money, to get the currency inside your country, to be able to invest even more. And this needs a lot of investment. But I think the highest priority in your country will be in the coming years to feed your population and to create jobs for the young people coming down from the mountains. You still have about 70% of the people living in the hills, and half of them in the next 30 years maybe will come down. So this will create a huge problem for your country, for your government, for your society.
Well, also another problem in countries like Nepal is the plight of human resource for employment abroad. As you said, creating jobs should be a priority for the government now. In the absence of probably opportunities or easier options, people often opt to go abroad. Is there any way a country like Nepal can stop that?
Only by creating these jobs, by creating new relations with donors and with international partners who can help you to invest. Without that, people will go away. They will look for better economic situation for their families, for their personally, and then they are lost for the country. This is an important resource which will be lost, and you lose that people who had an education which is important for your country as well.
Well, as we discussed earlier about Helvetas's engagement in Nepal, we talked about some of the areas like suspension bridge building program, which is of course if you point out, it's not just a successful program in Nepal, in many other countries as well. Are there any other areas which you would like to pinpoint as successful area where HELVETAS has been engaged in Nepal?
Yes. Potatoes. Many
most
years.
favorite dish, I think.
Yes,
Nepalese.
many years we had potato projects throughout the country. How cultivating, how storage, how to merchandise, all that, how doing the marketing. This was a huge project and program, and it improved the situation of the whole country concerning nutrition of the people, food security, and I think this was a successful one as well. And the potato revolution really had reached Asia and the Himalayan region only very late in the 60s, 70s of last century.
Well, Mr. Ledergerber, we are almost at the end of our conversation. It's just like we have just begun it, but we are almost at the end of it. A few words of advice to development seekers. We are the seekers and you are the partners who give us. What are the words of advice to draw more attention from your side?
You know, advice is always difficult. If you give advice which is not really expected, it is nothing worse. And I'm sure Nepal will find the ways and means how to do better, how to develop the country in future. And I can tell you, as long there are people here who don't have to eat enough during the year, who don't have clean water and drinking water, who are illiterate still, as long the work is not done. And we will like to give you support as far as we can.
Thank you so much for your kind words, for your continued support. The Swiss government and HELVETAS Nepal has got a lot from your engagement here. Well, you have been here to celebrate 60 years of HELVETAS. Wish you a nice stay and thank you so much for being with us here tonight.
Thank you very much.
Well, he was Elmar Ledergerber, President HELVETAS in Arso. Thank you so much for being with us. Until next time, from all of us here, bye-bye.